Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something that trips up so many English learners.
Mm-hmm.
It's that feeling,
Yeah.
like you're stuck. You feel like you just can't improve your speaking because, well, who do you practice with?
It's a massive concern. We hear it constantly. People feel they're doing all the right things.
Yeah.
The grammar books, the vocabulary apps, maybe even listening to shows like ours.
Right.
But that crucial step, actually speaking out loud consistently, it feels blocked if there's no conversation partner readily available.
Exactly. You feel like you're just waiting,
Mm.
waiting for the right person, the right moment. But here's where today's deep dive gets really, really interesting. The material we've gone through, it points to something quite powerful, maybe even surprising.
It really is. And the core truth is, well, it's pretty simple, but it's a total game changer. You absolutely can practice speaking and improve significantly your fluency, your confidence, even when you're completely on your own.
It does sound a bit counterintuitive, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
speaking feels like it needs two people
Mm.
or more.
Inherently interactive, yeah. That's the common assumption.
But this pile of research, these articles, expert advice,
Mm.
the core insight is that loads of people who became truly fluent in English, they managed a huge chunk of that progress without a dedicated speaking partner they saw every day.
That's the key. They weren't just passively waiting around, they were actively creating their own practice. They weren't dependent on finding someone else. Instead, they used what our sources consistently call these SMART techniques.
Smart techniques, I like that.
Yeah, methods that weave speaking practice right into their daily lives, their routines, even just their own thoughts.
So if you're listening now and you've felt held back by this no partner problem, if you've been kind of waiting this deep dive, this is for you. Consider this your moment.
Mm-hmm.
We set this up to be your personal blueprint. Our mission today is to lay out a complete actionable plan. It's packed with specific techniques you can start using immediately, anytime, anywhere. Even if you're literally the only person speaking English for miles around.
We're going to pull back the curtain, show you how you can practice by yourself. We'll break down the specific methods that are proven to build real fluency. We'll look at strategies for, catching your own mistakes, even working on pronunciation without someone else listening.
And crucially, how to make it something you actually do, something effective and maybe even enjoyable, not just another chore on the list.
Right. Not a burden.
By the end of this, you are going to have a whole toolbox. You'll have methods ready to go. You'll never have to feel stuck thinking, I can't practice speaking because I'm alone ever again. You'll have the power to practice consistently, building that confidence on your own schedule.
It's all about unlocking that potential for practice that's regular, low stress, and fits into your real life, not some idealized scenario.
Okay, fantastic. Are you ready then? Let's dive into the very first technique that really stands out in all this material.
Let's do it. And we're starting with one that, well, it might feel a little, maybe a bit strange, or even funny at first glance. But the sources, they consistently flag it as maybe the easiest and most effective place to begin. It's simply called the talk to yourself method.
Talking to yourself. Okay. I can almost hear some listeners thinking, wait, isn't that a bit weird? Or maybe, do I actually have to say things out loud?
Fair questions. And yes, it might feel slightly unnatural when you first try it. Maybe you start by just doing it silently in your head, or perhaps muttering very softly under your breath. That's fine.
But the reason behind it, the core benefit that makes this so important, according to the sources, it's fundamental. It trains your brain to actually think directly in English.
And that is such a critical shift. So many learners, especially early on, get caught in this loop. Think in native language, translate to English, then try to speak.
Right, that slow, clunky process.
Exactly. It's slow. It takes a lot of mental energy. And it's the main reason for those awkward pauses and hesitations we all want to avoid. Talking to yourself, even silently, actively builds a more direct connection. Thought straight to English word.
Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? What do you do? The sources give some really simple, practical examples. The most basic one is just narrating what you're doing right now, or describing what's around you.
Think about your morning, just the simple act of getting up. Instead of just, doing it, try describing it to yourself quietly or just in your thoughts as you wake up. Okay, getting out of bed now. Alarm just went off. Oh, it feels a bit cold this morning.
Then maybe you head to the bathroom. Right, walk into the bathroom now. Need to brush my teeth. Where did I put the toothpaste? Oh, there it is.
Or getting dressed. What should I wear today? Let me check the weather. Okay, looks like it'll be sunny, but cool. Maybe this green sweater and jeans.
It sounds almost too simple, maybe. But think about what's happening there. You're using present continuous, and getting, and walking. Simple present, feels cold, looks sunny. Modal verbs, should I wear? Basic questions, where did I put? Everyday vocabulary, bed, bathroom, toothpaste, sweater, jeans. Descriptive words, cold, green, sunny.
And you're doing it all naturally, based on your immediate reality. There's no test, no audience, just you connecting English words to your actions and surroundings. It's incredibly low pressure.
So it's not just actions, you can narrate your thoughts too, or your plans.
Absolutely. As you think about your day, articulate those plans in English. Okay, today, meeting at work at 10. You get to finish that report first. Then after work, I think I'll go to the gym. And I must remember to call my sister later.
Or maybe you're cooking something. Right, first step, chop the onions. Okay, onions done. Now, add the garlic to the pan. The recipe says, cook the chicken for about 15 minutes.
See, you're naturally pulling in different tenses, present for actions, future intentions, will go plan to, modals, need to, must remember, sequencing first, now, then, specific vocabulary related to the task, like cooking terms. The real key here, and the sources stress this, is to aim for natural speech. Like you're just thinking out loud.
And the reason it's so effective, the sources say it forces your brain to form English sentences quickly and without stress. Is that because there's no one listening?
That's a huge part of it. The performance anxiety is gone. You're not worried about making mistakes in front of someone, so you can pause if you need to. You can rephrase something. Try saying it a couple of different ways until it feels or sounds right in your head.
So it builds that spontaneity.
Exactly. That consistent low-stakes output makes finding words and structuring sentences feel much more automatic over time. You're essentially giving your brain constant, gentle practice in retrieving and assembling English.
It's fascinating how it taps into something we already do, that internal monologue.
Precisely. We all have that voice in our head. By consciously switching even parts of that inner conversation to English, you unlock this massive stream of potential practice time that needs absolutely nothing external. No partner, no classroom, no app needed in that moment.
And doing it just for a few minutes here and there, while walking, waiting for coffee, washing dishes.
It all adds up. Those little moments accumulate into significant practice. You start reducing that hesitation time. You become more fluid, which then helps immensely when you do get the chance to speak with someone else. You've already been warming up your English brain all day.
It's like you're literally rewiring your brain pathways for English. Okay, so the message is embrace talking to yourself. Find those little pockets of time. Narrate your world. It might feel odd initially, but it's foundational.
Definitely foundational. Okay, moving to our second core technique. This one adds something absolutely crucial, objective feedback. It's the voice recording technique.
Recording yourself.
Yes. And the material calls this one powerful specifically because it lets you hear yourself as others might hear you, which is, well, essential if you want to pinpoint areas for improvement.
Oh, this is so true. It's almost the universal experience, isn't it? Hearing your own voice recorded, it often sounds quite different than you imagine.
It really does.
You might not realize you speak really fast, or maybe too slowly. Or you might not hear your own pronunciation quirks, or notice those little grammar mistakes you keep making until you actually listen back. A recording lets you step outside yourself and analyze things, pronunciation, grammar, intonation, fluency, more objectively.
And the sources give us a very clear step-by-step process for doing this. It's not complicated.
Okay, what are the steps?
Step 1, choose a simple topic, something manageable. The examples given are things like, describe your favorite movie, or maybe talk about your last vacation.
Why simple?
Because you want to focus your brain power on how you're speaking, not struggling to invent complex ideas or searching for high-level vocabulary on the spot. Pick something you actually know and feel comfortable talking about. Your hobbies, your family, your job, what you did yesterday.
Makes sense. Keep the content easy so you can focus on the delivery. Okay, step 2.
Step 2, set a timer. The sources suggest about 1 to 2 minutes. This time limit does a couple of things. It gives you a clear endpoint, and it encourages you to keep speaking continuously about the topic until that timer goes off. It builds a bit of speaking stamina.
Got it. Speak for 1-2 minutes. And step 3.
Step 3, listen back to the recording. And this, the sources emphasize, is where the magic happens. You need to listen actively. The instruction is to write down any mistakes or areas for improvement.
So not just listening casually while you do something else. Really focus. Maybe even have a notebook ready.
Exactly. Be your own friendly detective. What are you listening for specifically? Well, things like, did you struggle with certain sounds? Maybe the sound, or the difference between ship and sheep, or maybe certain vowel sounds.
Pronunciation.
Pronunciation is a big one. But also grammar. Did you notice you kept using the wrong tense, like saying, I go yesterday instead of I went? Or maybe you mixed up prepositions on, in, at.
I mean, grammar errors. What else?
Phrasing. Did some sentences sound a bit awkward, unnatural? Like maybe you translated directly from your native language and it didn't quite land right in English.
Those direct translations can sound clunky.
They really can. Also, listen for fluency markers. Did you pause a lot? Were there too many ums and ohs? Or did you speak too quickly without clear pauses between ideas? How was your intonation? Did you sound interested or a bit flat?
Wow, okay, there's actually a lot you can listen for when you pay attention.
There really is. And the material suggests an advanced step to take this even further, comparing your recording with a native speaker.
How would you do that realistically?
You'd find a piece of English content, maybe a short YouTube clip, a segment from a podcast, maybe even a news report where a native speaker is talking about the exact same topic you just recorded yourself on.
So if I recorded myself talking about my favorite movie, I'd find a native speaker reviewing or discussing that same movie.
Precisely. Then you listen really closely to how they discuss it. Not just what they say, but how. Their pronunciation of keywords, their rhythm and stress patterns, the music of their English, what vocabulary do they choose, how do they structure their sentences.
And the goal isn't to sound exactly like them.
Not necessarily to lose your own accent or personality, no, but the source says the goal is to try to copy their style in the sense of understanding and internalizing what sounds natural. How do they connect ideas? What common phrases do they use? You can absorb a lot about natural flow this way. You could even try recording yourself again after listening to them, trying to incorporate some elements you noticed.
The whole recording thing,
Yeah.
it provides really concrete feedback, doesn't it? You can't argue with the recording.
Exactly. It moves you from thinking you might have a problem with, say, past tense to knowing it because you heard yourself make the mistake 5 times in 2 minutes. And that allows for incredibly focused practice.
So instead of feeling overwhelmed trying to fix everything,
You can pick just 1 or 2 specific things from your recording. Maybe it's the sound. Maybe it's remembering to add the S to third-person singular verbs. And you focus on that in your next practice sessions, maybe even doing more recordings specifically targeting that issue.
I know some people really dislike hearing their own voice.
It's true, many people do. It can feel jarring at first. But pushing past that initial discomfort unlocks this incredibly valuable tool for self-assessment. You effectively become your own language coach. And the tech is so easy now, every smartphone has a voice recorder.
Yeah, no fancy equipment needed.
Nope. It turns guesswork about your weaknesses into actionable knowledge. It's a really practical way to get that objective feedback loop going when there isn't a teacher or partner right there.
Definitely powerful. Okay, what's technique number 3?
Technique number 3 brings in a visual dimension. It's called the mirror speaking challenge. The sources frame this one as both fun and effective.
Mirror speaking. So literally talking to your reflection.
Exactly that. Stand in front of a mirror, bathroom mirror, bedroom mirror, whatever, and talk in English.
Simple setup. But what's the point? What are you supposed to be looking at?
The source material is specific here. While you speak, you should actively watch your mouth, your facial expressions, and your confidence level.
So it's about the visual feedback. Seeing how you look when you speak English.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You don't get that from just talking to yourself or listening to a recording. Seeing yourself helps connect the sound with the physical act of producing it. And importantly, the sources say this helps you feel more comfortable speaking because you're literally watching yourself be a person who speaks English. It normalizes it visually for your brain.
Okay, I can see that.
Huh?
And it's called a challenge. How does the mirror become a partner?
This is the really neat part. The source suggests you treat your reflection as your conversation partner. Don't just lecture the mirror, simulate an interaction.
Wow.
The clearest way suggested is to ask yourself a question, then answer it. The example given is great. Ask your reflection, what's your favorite food? Then make eye contact with yourself in the mirror. Maybe pause for a beat as if the other person asked, and then answer. Oh, well, I really love sushi. It's so delicious, and I enjoy trying all the different kinds of rolls.
Huh. Okay, it sounds maybe a little funny, but I can see how that would work. Practice simple Q&A pairs.
Exactly. Think of easy, common questions. What did you do last weekend? Look in the mirror. Answer. Oh, last weekend, I just relaxed at home mostly. Watched a couple of movies. It was nice. Or, what are you reading these days? Answer. Actually, I'm reading this really interesting book about behavioral economics.
What's your dream vacation?
My dream vacation? I'd love to go to Italy someday. See Rome, Florence, eat lots of pasta. You get the idea.
Yeah, simple back and forth. But what does this practice specifically target that the other methods don't?
It directly targets those nonverbal aspects of communication that are crucial in real conversations. The source points out you're practicing eye contact. Even with yourself, it builds the habit. Observing your body language. Are you expressive, tense, open? And refining your natural expression.
So does my face match what I'm saying? Am I conveying the right emotion?
Exactly. Are you smiling when talking about something enjoyable? Did your expression look engaged? We communicate so much nonverbally. Practicing in the mirror helps you become aware of your physical presence as a speaker. It builds confidence in the act of communicating face-to-face.
That makes a lot of sense. Seeing yourself speak confidently, even if it's just yourself, reinforces that image.
It really does. You can consciously practice things like smiling more naturally as you speak, using small hand gestures, maintaining that steady gaze.
Yep.
It demystifies the experience of speaking English in front of someone because you've literally watched yourself doing it successfully.
It bridges the gap between just knowing the words and actually delivering them in a communicative way.
Perfectly put. It's rehearsing the whole performance. Words, face, body language, confidence.
So, recommendation. Find a mirror. Bathroom, bedroom, even the selfie camera on your phone could work for short bursts. Ask and answer questions, describe things, and watch yourself communicate. A real confidence booster.
Absolutely. Okay, that brings us to our fourth core technique. This one is specifically designed to push your speed and quick thinking. It's the 1-minute fluency drill.
A drill. Sounds intense. What's the goal here?
The sources state this method helps you speak faster and think quicker in English. It's less about crafting perfect sentences and more about building momentum and reducing that mental processing delay.
Okay, faster thinking, faster speaking. How does the drill work?
It's very straightforward. 3 steps again. Step 1, choose a simple topic. Again, simple is key because the focus is on flow under pressure. The example used is talk about your daily routine, something you know intimately.
Right. No need to invent complex ideas. Okay, step 2.
Step 2, set a timer for exactly 1 minute, 60 seconds. The strict time limit is what creates the drill environment.
Okay, 1-minute timer. Step 3.
Step 3, start speaking about your topic. And this is the absolute crucial rule. Do not stop talking until that minute is up. Keep producing sound. Keep the English flowing no matter what.
No stopping at all.
Yeah.
But once, what if you get stuck? Like you completely blank on a word or
No.
just freeze up?
That's the core challenge this drill addresses, and the guidance from the source is very specific, maybe even feels a bit unnatural at first. If you get stuck, if you can't find the word, don't pause, just say anything to keep going.
Say anything, like nonsense.
Not necessarily nonsense, but the point is to avoid silence. Break the habit of freezing. In a real conversation, dead air feels awkward, right? This drill forces you to bridge those gaps. Say anything. Could mean using common English filler phrases like, well, it's let me see. Or you could repeat the last few words you said while your brain frantically searches. Or you could even describe your struggle in English. Oh, what's the word for that thing? I can't remember right now, but...
I see. So it's about keeping the engine running, keeping the sound moving forward, even if it's just idling for a second with a filler phrase.
Precisely. You are maintaining the stream of speech. The purpose, as the expert speaker clarifies in the source, is that this exercise trains your brain to think and speak at the same time, just like real, spontaneous conversation demands. You don't usually have time to pre-plan and polish every single sentence in a live chat.
It forces faster retrieval of words and grammar.
Yes. You start prioritizing getting the message across, even if it's a bit messy, overachieving perfection in that split second. And that is fluency. Fluency isn't just about accuracy, it's significantly about flow and speed.
And the sources say doing this regularly has a big payoff.
A huge payoff over time. Consistent practice of this 1-minute drill, maybe just once or twice a day, leads to speaking more smoothly and naturally. You genuinely start pausing less, finding words faster, and connecting thoughts more seamlessly, especially when you feel a bit of pressure.
It sounds like high-intensity interval training, but for your mouth and brain.
That's a great analogy. It builds mental resilience. You become less afraid of getting stuck because you've practiced pushing through those moments. You learn to use those filler strategies or circumlocution, talking around a word you can't find, which, by the way, native speakers do constantly.
Okay, so the action is grab a timer. Phone works perfectly. Pick a super simple topic, my breakfast, my pet, my commute. Hit start and talk for 60 seconds without stopping. Ramble if you have to. Repeat yourself. Use fillers. Just keep the English sounds coming.
That's the drill. It's tough at first, but incredibly effective for building that on-the-spot thinking and speaking ability.
4 really solid techniques there. Talk to yourself. Record your voice. Use the mirror. And do the 1-minute drill.
Exactly. And now, having laid out those practical methods, let's zoom out slightly. The sources also provide some broader context, some cultural insights that really underscore why this kind of solo practice is so valuable.
Okay, what's the connection to culture?
A really significant point highlighted across the material is that in many English-speaking cultures, perhaps especially in places like the US, UK, Canada, Australia, confidence is key.
Confidence. How does that relate to language errors?
Well, the insight is that even if your grammar isn't perfect, and let's be real, whose is, even among native speakers sometimes, people often value and respond more positively to how smoothly and confidently you communicate.
So delivery matters as much as, or sometimes maybe even more than, perfect accuracy.
In many everyday interactions, yes. The sources mention those countries, US, UK, Australia, as places where people generally admire good communication skills. And often the focus leans more on fluency and expression than on perfect grammar.
That doesn't mean grammar is unimportant, obviously.
Of course not. Clarity is essential. But it suggests that striving for absolute grammatical perfection while you're speaking can sometimes lead to so much hesitation and self-correction that it actually gets in the way of clear, effective communication. Someone speaking confidently and fluently, even with a few minor mistakes, is often easier and more pleasant to interact with than someone who speaks perfectly correct sentences, but does so very slowly and hesitantly.
So the implication for listeners is focus on getting your message across clearly and with some self-assurance.
Exactly. And notice how the solo techniques we discussed directly build that. Talking to yourself builds automaticity. Recording helps you smooth out awkward phrasing. Mirror work builds visual confidence. The 1-minute drill builds flow under pressure. You're training the very skills that are often highly valued in these communication contexts.
It's about connection and effective expression, not just linguistic perfection.
Precisely. Confidence helps bridge gaps, smooth over minor errors, and makes the interaction flow better for everyone. So building that through solo practice is incredibly practical preparation for real-world use.
Okay, that's a really motivating perspective. And there was another point in the sources about making solo practice feel less weird.
Ah, yes. This is a great one for anyone still feeling a bit self-conscious about, talking to the mirror or narrating their breakfast. The key insight is, you are not alone. These techniques aren't just some strange thing language learners do. Many native speakers use very similar solo practice methods.
Really? Native speakers practice talking to themselves.
Absolutely. It completely normalizes the whole idea.
What's the example the sources give?
The main one cited is public speaking. Think about it. Many public speakers practice alone before they speak in public.
Oh, of course. That's obvious when you think about it.
Yeah.
People rehearsing a presentation, preparing for a job interview, practicing a post for a wedding.
Exactly. And how do they rehearse alone? The sources explicitly state they use methods just like the ones we've covered. They talk to themselves in front of a mirror, record their voice, and rehearse their speech.
Wow. So the same things we're suggesting for building basic fluency and confidence in English are the exact same strategies native speakers use to polish their delivery, ensure clarity, manage timing, and boost their own confidence for important communication tasks.
It's powerful validation, isn't it? It confirms that practicing alone is actually a technique that even native speakers use to improve their speaking skills. It's not a second-best option. It's a legitimate and highly effective way to hone verbal communication, whatever your starting point.
That really does change the perspective. If native speakers need solo practice to refine their communication,
Then it makes perfect sense that learners benefit immensely from it for building foundational skills. And thinking about why native speakers do it is interesting, too. They're often working on things like Is my message structured clearly? Is the emotional tone right? Am I varying my pace effectively? Am I making strong connections with key points?
So they're using it for refinement, whereas a learner might be using it more for automaticity and basic confidence, but the underlying principle is the same.
Exactly. Solo practice provides that controlled space to deliberately work on specific aspects of speaking, identifying weaknesses via recording, building stamina with drills, enhancing presence with mirror work without the real-time pressure and potential chaos of live interaction. It's crucial preparation.
So next time you feel awkward talking to yourself in English, just picture a CEO rehearsing a keynote speech in front of their hotel mirror. You're in good company.
You really are.
Okay, this has been incredibly rich. We've unpacked 4 core techniques from the sources for practicing English speaking completely alone. The talk to yourself method for thinking in English, the voice recording technique for crucial self-assessment, the mirror speaking challenge for building confidence and presence, and the 1-minute fluency drill for boosting speed and flow.
And we've seen how these aren't just abstract ideas. They're concrete, practical actions grounded in how successful learners improve and even how native speakers refine their own skills. And now, really, it's time to put theory into practice.
Yes. The Deep Dive Challenge. We've pulled together a simple, actionable challenge for you, the listener, based directly on the source suggestions. Something you can genuinely treat today.
Okay, what's the challenge?
All right, here it is. 3 simple steps. Step 1. Pick a super simple topic. What you see out your window, what you had for lunch, your plans for tonight, and try the talk to yourself method. Just narrate or describe it for 1 minute, maybe combine it with the 1-minute drill idea. Keep the English flowing for that 60 seconds.
Okay, step 1, talk for a minute. Got it.
Step 2, either record that 1 minute of talking or choose another simple topic and record yourself talking for 1 or 2 minutes using the voice recording technique. Then, and this is key, listen back carefully. Don't judge yourself harshly. Just try to identify any mistakes or areas for improvement. Maybe just pick one thing you notice, a sound, a word, a tense to be aware of next time.
Step 2, record and listen. Identify one thing.
Okay. And step 3, find that mirror. Try the mirror speaking challenge. Ask yourself one simple question, how was your day? Or what are you looking forward to? And answer it out loud, making eye contact with your reflection. Pay attention to how you express yourself visually.
Step 3, mirror Q&A, watch expression. Excellent.
Those 3 steps, talk, record, listen, mirror section. You can absolutely do them today, right now, without needing anyone else at all. They are the building blocks of effective solo practice.
And we genuinely want to know how it goes for you. Or perhaps you already have your own favorite solo methods. The source material actually prompts us to ask you.
What's the question?
It asks you, our listeners, tell us, what's your favorite way to practice English alone? Or, if these techniques are new, which part of the challenge did you try? What did you discover? Please share your thoughts or experiences in the comments or wherever you connect with us. Your insights are so valuable.
Absolutely. Hearing from you really helps us understand what clicks and what challenges remain. And speaking of what's next, the sources hinted at our next deep dive topic, didn't they?
They did. It follows on perfectly from today. We've talked about how to produce spoken English, but there's also the challenge of getting your brain to process and generate that English more quickly.
Thinking faster in English.
Exactly. The next deep dive is going to focus on specific methods to train your brain to think in English faster.
That sounds like the perfect follow-up. You'll have the tools to practice speaking alone from today, and next time, strategies to speed up the mental engine behind it all. Definitely don't miss that one.
It should be a good one. So, until then,
keep talking, keep practicing those techniques, and please try to enjoy the process of learning English. You now have concrete strategies, proven methods to practice your speaking anytime, anywhere. That lack of a partner is no longer a roadblock.
Well said. Take care for now.
See you next time for the next deep dive.
And maybe just one final thought to leave you with as you go about your day. Mull this over. If highly fluent native speakers regularly use solo practice, like talking to themselves or recording their voice, not just for basic fluency, but to refine their communication impact, what does that really tell us about the power and legitimacy of practicing on your own?
Or think about it this way. If becoming fluent is maybe less about finding someone else to talk to all the time and more about consistently training your own brain and mouth to produce English spontaneously, confidently, whereas just one small opportunity, maybe just 60 seconds in your day today or tomorrow, where you could consciously slip in a tiny bit of this solo English practice.
It could be anything. Describing the street scene while you wait for the bus, narrating making your coffee, asking and answering one question in the mirror while you brush your teeth. These small, consistent solo efforts, they really are the secret sauce for so many people who achieve fluency. Something to consider.
Thanks so much for joining this deep dive.
Until next time.